The subject is acquiring strength. We know how strength is important, and it is the very basis of our survival. If we are weak, we die. Swami Vivekananda said, when you are weak, only then disease affects you. Only then bacteria overpowers you. If you are strong, disease will not come to you. But we are talking more about the mental strength. So let's first say, we are concerned with our spiritual progress. That's the main thing that we want to know, how to make ourselves grow spiritually. What are needed for that? How should we keep our habits, our thoughts, our actions? How our mind should be trained so that it really becomes a helpmate in spiritualizing our being. We want to know, as was read, the glory of Atman. We want to understand Atman. We want to realize Atman. We want to realize our real self. But that requires strength. In Kathopanishad it is said, Nayam Atma Balahinena Labhya. If you are weak, you cannot realize Atman. This spiritual progress is only for strong, not weaklings. So strong in mind. And to have the strong mind, you need to have a strong body as well. At least fit and perfect body. So physical strength is the first thing we should have to have the strong mind to hold on by the body. So to have the physical strength and to consider the body as an instrument for achievement of the goal, we need to keep it fit and trim. Not that by saying that we want to have a strong body, we need to do all wrestling and boxing and make our muscles, biceps, triceps strong. That's for the wrestlers and bodybuilders. We don't want to be bodybuilders. We want to be spiritual growers. So for that, we are still dependent on the body. Sharira madhyam khalu dharma sadhanam. You want to do good things in life. You want to make spiritual progress for yourself. You want to serve your fellow human beings. The first thing, adya, the first thing is shariram. You have to keep the body fit. Considering body like a house. It is a temporary house that we are in. So we need to clean it. We need to keep it fit. We need to make it help in keeping the mind fit. If our body is weak, it starts commanding us. Body starts saying, oh, it is pain, treat it. So our mind has to be given to this body. Which Sri Ramakrishna used to say, it is a case, it is a pillowcase. We are more concerned with the pillow, substance of the pillow, that is the Atman. So, regular exercise with healthy food, yogic exercise often help, and various kind of exercises are there. That's called regular simple exercises, as is said in our Indian tradition, like yoga or Chinese tradition, Tai Chi, or any just simple aerobics. That also helps in keeping body fit. And to be strong in body, we need to have control over what we give to the body. In fact, it's the mind that asks body to enjoy the tasteful food, say sometimes which are not good. If we dump and give it more, then body reacts. So we need to have control on what we eat. And as Sri Krishna said, moderation in eating, sleeping and recreation. In the Gita it is said. That helps in keeping body fit. And then when your body is fit, then you are able to aspire to practice yoga or spirituality. But main thing is how to keep the mind strong. We want to strengthen the mind, which often wavers, which often is shaky. We do something, they say good, and we do one day, and next day we are not able to do. So how to keep mind strong enough to be able to practice what we want and what we think that it is good for us. So to keep the mind strong, there are something that we need to practice in life. So first is faith. So faith makes us strong. Faith in what? Swami Vivekananda said, if you have faith in 330 million gods that Hinduism says, and don't have faith in one more thing, then you are atheist. You are useless. You don't have faith in God at all. So what is that another? Faith in yourself. That is the great strength. Faith in oneself. That yes, as you have been read, yes, I can do. It can be achievable. Another person does, another human being does. Why can't I achieve that? To that, one needs to have faith in God. Sometimes we feel, oh, actually for me alone to achieve that, it seems to be a little difficult. Then we rush and pray, Lord, give me strength. Make me fit to achieve that. And with your grace and your gift, I am sure that I can achieve that. With faith in ourselves first, then faith in the grace of God, in the power of God to give us strength, we really acquire the strength. And we feel strong. Another thing comes. Sometimes they say, oh, I am a simple, ordinary person. How can I practice this like you are the monks? No, that doesn't work. We all are human beings. We all have weaknesses, whether monk or householder. It is not that spirituality is meant only for monks. Spirituality is meant for monks, householders, for anyone. The monastic life and householder's life is two types of life in this world. But it's not spirituality meant for all. And if a monk can achieve, householder has equal chance to achieve that. So the faith that I too can achieve what a monk can achieve. What monk strives to achieve? Total dependence on God and detachment from the world, mental detachment. So that can be achieved in householder's life. I belong to God, and everything that I say as mine, in fact they all belong to God. With that sense comes the detachment, and detachment gives a lot of strength. It makes us strong when we are detached and do the things as duty to please God. If I serve my child, my God will be happy because He has given me His son or daughter so that I can take care. So, pleasing Lord comes through devotion to Him. This is a path of devotion. Persons who have the devotional temperament, they can bring God in everything they do. Those who have like knowledge temperament, of reasoning temperament, they can say that this is the thing that is given to me, and whole life I have to perform my duty in this world. Anyone who is born has to do something. And this looking after my children is also a part of life that I have to do, as giving something. So that is the person of reasoning that does. Another thing that gives us a strength of mind gradually is acquiring the quality for decision making. Often if we are not able to decide in anything, so we'll not be able to decide the big things also, small things. Should I eat this or that? We need to make decision quick. Anything, what you like. The faster we make decision in small things, then we can make greater decisions. Whether I should take spiritual life seriously, whether I should get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, or I should sleep up to 6 o'clock. That sort of decision will be possible when we start making decisions in small things in life. So that is very important to make mind strong, acquiring power to decide in everything in life. Quick decision making, not wavering. I don't know what is good. That will make the mind weaker. Yes, this is right, I think this is right. Maybe we'll make wrong decisions, but still we'll become strong. We will learn by the experience if we make the wrong decisions. Next time we'll not make a decision, wrong decision. We'll make the right decision. But the habit of making quick decision comes to us. When our mind is strong, we start taking control of thoughts. What sorts of thoughts come to us? It is very important to control evil thoughts, bad thoughts that come to us. Thoughts are such things, it's very difficult to just be very particular in what sorts of thought will come. Good thoughts and bad thoughts both come. They are there in our mind, in our samskaras. But what we can do is when bad thought comes, we need not over on it, brood on those thoughts. Just comes and goes. By that way, we can retain onto good thoughts. But this law for making our mind strong says you should have control over even your good thoughts. That is, when good thoughts come to you, you should not divulge it to anyone and everyone all the time. And this is true for dreams. Sometimes we see very nice dreams. And getting up, we try to share it with everyone. They say if you have good dreams, don't share. If you had a very good meditation one day, don't tell to everyone, oh, I had such a fantastic meditation today. They say, control it, save it, don't spend it. Spend only interest. The original money, that amount should be just kept. Otherwise you will lose that. Only spend interest. They say about the dreams, that when you see good dreams, or dream about God, or dream about some holiness, don't share to everyone. One thing is, by going to talk your dreams, people will not understand. They will say you are crazy, or they will have some wrong interpretation of your dream. And their suggestions or advice or their comments will affect us, and that will make us weak. So it should be told to those who are really can understand and interpret the dreams. And some dreams really make us very happy. Let us keep that happiness inside. That makes us strong, and we'll have more and more of nice dreams and good thoughts. Really, when we are strong in mind, the quality we attain is fearlessness. This fear makes us very weak. Fear of ghosts, fear of losing our name and fame, fear of losing our image. Those all make us very weak. And that is the reason we often react when we feel we are insulted by someone. Our whole image about ourselves gets pulverized. And that is because of a weakness. You can think when some very small child comes and says you something, you don't get angry. But when you get angry on the insult of someone, means you give much importance to that person. So, and when you become angry, you are weakened. This anger makes very weak. And the greatest cause of our weakness is fear. So, we have to practice the fearlessness. They say this fearlessness is the ultimate of our spiritual growth. The ultimate fearlessness is compared with realization of Atman. Abhayam vai Brahman. Brahman is fearlessness, it says. The Upanishad says, Abhayam vai Brahman. When Janaka came to learn spirituality to his teacher saw him and said, Janaka, you have achieved the goal. You have achieved Brahman. You have achieved fearlessness. Abhayam vai Janaka praptosi. Janaka, you have achieved fearlessness. And that fearlessness is ultimate fearlessness. When we are aware of our immortal nature. When we are aware of our dissociation from this body. We are aware that we are Atman, not this body. When the Atma Buddhi has gone, when considering ourselves as the body has been replaced by considering ourselves as the Atman. The Atma Buddhi has gone and Atma Buddhi has dawned. Then we become real fearless. The Shastras say that till you have the sense of two, you have fear. When this two vanishes and you are established in one, then only you become fearless. They say the story traditionally in Vedanta. They say one guest came to a household and they found, the host found they had nothing, no rice was left that day. And then they had to, but they didn't want their guests to know that there was no rice in the house that day. So there was paddy, so paddy had to be husked that time itself. So somehow that lady goes to the husking machine, Theki we call. It was to be a wooden husking machine. So she goes there and she finds when she was doing that, there was noise of bangles coming from her hand because it was moving and the lady wear many bangles. So she, to make that noise doesn't go to the house, she removed all bangles save two. So there's something they have to wear. But still she found when she was paddling the husking machine, the sound of two bangles striking together was going. So ultimately she removed one of the two. When only one was left, there was no sound. And when only one was left, there was no fear that the guest will be able to understand that we don't have rice today and I'm going to prepare the rice grains. So that oneness gives fearlessness. That's why in another Upanishad says, Yada evaisha udaramantaram kurute attasya bhayam bhavati. When there is duality, there is the knowledge of two, we are establishing I and you, then there is fear. There is chance of fear. Even though there may be love, but there is chance of fear. I and the body, we both exist. I exist in the body. There is fear. If I say there is something attachment with the body will become sick, it will have pain, it will grow old, it will die. So we have to be established in the self. That alone is the way to get ultimate strength and ultimate fearlessness. We get afraid of death because of this fear of the loss of body. We consider ourselves this body. When this sense of identification with the body goes, then we really become fearless and we attain so much strength. That story that Swami Vivekananda told, that once some King Alexander or some came to India and his guru had asked, his teacher had asked, when you go to India, bring nothing save wise man. India heard there are very wise persons that they will be the gem of your court. So bring wise men from India. So when he came to India, he asked, are there wise men? So somebody told, yeah, there is one wise man, he lives in forest. He meditates a lot, he has no concern with the worldly life, he lives in forest. So he sent one of his army man attendant to ask him to come to his kingdom, and he will give honor and everything that wise man needed. So he sent his military man, and he goes there and he comes, my king wants you to go to his kingdom, and he will give whatever you ask. You don't have to live in the forest. The wise man says, I am very happy here. I don't want to go. Please leave me alone here. Then this was reported to Alexander. Alexander himself came to meet this man, saw his glowing face. We could feel the wisdom that man had acquired living in the forest. And then he went near him and said, oh holy man, please come to my kingdom. I'll give you honor. I'll give you everything that you need in life, whatever you ask for. Please come with me. The wise man said, no, I don't want to go. I'm very happy here. Then Alexander got angry and he said, you know, I am the emperor. If you deny my order, I can kill you. The holy man laughed at this and said, Alexander, you have never told a great lie like this in your life. You are saying you can kill me? That is the greatest lie that you have told in your life. You cannot kill me. You may kill this body. You may make it into pieces. But what that to me? I am not the body. I am the self. I am the Atman. How can you kill me? So that was the strength of realization of the Atman. That was the real fearlessness. When what is that fearless, then nothing can, even death can make them fearful. And that we find the story in the life of Shankaracharya. Somebody said, my teacher practices something and he wants you to sacrifice. Will you give your body for that? He said, you want something from my body? Let us go. I'll give this body to that person. But he was saved by divine providence, that his disciple heard that someone was going to sacrifice his body. Then he came and became like Nrsimha and killed that person, Tantrika. But they readily agreed. Buddha said, I can give my life, sacrifice my life instead of this goat. And when they say with sincerity, because they know that when the body dies, nothing happens, this body goes. We know the story of Vritrasu, that one, Dadichi, one rishi. So, between the war of Asuras and Devas came to know, Indra came to know that they can defeat Asuras only if Indra makes weapon from the bone of a rishi. And that rishi was alive. Now how do we get the bone of that rishi? Someone said, go and say to rishi, he may agree to give his bones. So they go and say, we are in need of a bones to make weapons. Only with that weapon we can conquer Asuras. Can you keep your bones? The Diji said, what does that matter? These bones remain. If it does something good, I can just give it. And he just sits in meditation, gives body nirvikalpa samadhi, and they take out the bones and make them. So giving the body was not a matter for them because they have known their self. Sri Ramakrishna says, when gold is burnt in a glass tube, Makaradhvaja is made, gold is burnt, that is the concept. Burnt gold is very good. It becomes acid or something. It's a medicine for some disease. So when that gold is burnt and Makaradhvaja has been formed, Makaradhvaja is the name of the medicine, then whether that container remains or broken doesn't matter. The thing is, Makaradhvaja has to be formed. One has to realize the glory of the self. That whether body lives or goes doesn't matter. Real fearlessness comes with the knowledge of the real nature of human beings. Next thing which makes our mind strong is practice of non-violence. Non-violence means greatest strength and power of endurance. Nothing can shake, nothing can make you fearful. It also means greatest courage and love combined together. Non-violence means total absence of hatred towards others. That's what the meaning of non-violence is. It is not killing someone. It is in fact the total absence of hatred. When Arjuna and Krishna were there in the battle, Krishna in the Gita says, practice this non-violence and kill them. Kill your enemy practicing non-violence. That means don't have the feeling of hatred towards your cousins and the people whom you face and are killing. Do it as a duty without any feeling of hatred. This as a Kshatriya, as a person who will govern the nation and is the protector of dharma, it is my duty to destroy whoever opposes that, and there is no hatred. Hatred is as bad as attachment. And hatred is perhaps greater attachment than the liking. Something we like, we get attached. Something we hate, we get more greater attached. That's why the story of Jaya, Vijaya and Vishnu. Somehow Jaya, Vijaya was to be attendant of Vishnu in heaven. Somehow they were cursed by some rishis that you will have to be born as human beings. Then Jaya, Vijaya were very devoted. They went to Vishnu and said, please protect me, we don't want to leave you. We always want to be with God. Being born as human being, we'll forget you. That is how the human nature is. They often forget God. Then Vishnu said, don't worry, after 7 lives in the world, you will come back to me again. 7 lives without you, we can't stand that. Please do something. But he said, you will be our devotee for 7 lives. If you want to be really return earlier, in 3 lives, that is also a way. But then you will have to be my enemy. You will have to be enemy of the person whom you like so much, of the being whom you like so much. Would you like to be devotees and for 7 lives? Or would you like to come after 3 lives in the world and live there as my enemies? So they chose to be enemies. And they were born as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha and Ravana and Kumbhakarna and Kamsa and Shishupala. Those were Jaya, Vijaya, who were constantly with Vishnu. And after Kamsa and Shishupala, they went back to heaven to Vishnu. That is the story, mythology says. But the psychology is that when they were enemy of Vishnu, they remembered Vishnu more than if they would have been devotees. Vishnu was constant in their thoughts. Often that we dislike is always with us. That story, Zen story is there. So 2 monks were crossing the river was in spade. So there was no boat to cross. While crossing, they found one young lady sitting on the bank, not able to cross the river because it was in spade. So one of the monks says, you want to cross? So I can help you. You can just climb on my shoulder and I'll take you across. And he just took it. The lady sat on the shoulder, water was up to the chest, and crossed there and put on the bank, on the side of the bank, and went away. So 2 monks are walking, not talking much. After about 2 hours, another monk asked this monk who had carried the woman across the river, she said, brother, I have a question. Ask. She says, did you ride as a monk to carry a young woman on his shoulder? Then that friend said who had carried, brother, I carried that woman for a few minutes just to cross the river and put on the bank. But I find you are carrying her throughout these 2 hours. He disliked that thing, and he was still carrying. That man performed the duty of service of mankind out of his compassion and kindness. And he forgot that. The woman was not in his mind. But other person's mind there was this thing because he didn't like that monks to do that. So this was something that dislike often gets a form of attachment. It's more in our mind. So that has to be taken care of. Hatred is as bad as attachment. Hatred is a stronger attachment. And hatred should go. Anger is as bad as lust. So we should be very careful not to get angry, really angry. Becoming angry is different from showing anger. Sometimes we may need to show anger. But when we become angry on someone, our whole psychophysical system changes. Adrenaline rushes, mind gets disturbed, our physical appearance changes, face becomes flushed. So that way, that is the sign of anger, when we are just out of ourselves. But sometimes, to protect yourself, you need to do hiss. That is not... Hissing is not denied, but anger is of course denied. They say, if we don't get angry, how will we survive? There are people, so many people will take advantage of us. And they say survival of the fittest is the law of the world, of the animal kingdom. But survival of the fittest is the law of animal kingdom, not the kingdom of God. The law of the kingdom of God, survival in the kingdom of God, is love and sacrifice. Those who love more, sacrifice more, they survive. Christ survives because of his love and sacrifice. So we need to develop compassion, not hatred. Hatred is weakness. Hatred is attachment. Hatred is very antithesis of strength. When will hatred go again? When will we be totally free from hatred? Upanishad, a beautiful verse, Ishopanishad. It says, when you will be able to feel yourself in everyone, that I am in everyone. And also everyone in yourself, then there will be no hatred. Yastu sarvani bhutani atman neva anupashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijugupsate. Then the real hatred will go. As when we realize our real nature of ourselves, then all fear will go. Hatred will also go when we are able to connect ourselves with everyone. To that extent, that everything becomes me. I identify with everyone in the world. There can be hatred when you are all. Other simple exercises to make mind strong is becoming regular in our habits. In our spiritual practice, in our other habits, just regularity gives us strength. Sometimes if someone asks, do this, say, no, this is my time to do worship, this is my time to do meditation. So that gives you strength of mind, the habit of regularity. Often that sense of that Swami Vivekananda said that I am a sinner, I did mistake, the self-pity and guilt feeling, that weakens us. And that also is because of ignorance and wrong identification of ourselves with some errors that we do. So that has to be removed and more emphasis on our own real nature. Often shyness comes as a weakness of the mind. Shyness in doing good, in practicing spirituality. If it is a time for prayer, somebody comes and what they will say. Some are there. They say, I don't want to put the photograph of my Ishta or God on my wall, because people say, you belong to this tradition or this faith. So that is the shyness that fails to say, but that is a sign of weakness. If you love some form of God, you can display that. I like this form, but I am not. I don't say that you are wrong. I like this form so that I can love everyone, so that I can love every form of God. So lajja, krina, bhoy, teen, apte noy. Sri Ramakrishna brackets these three: shyness, the hatred, and fear as one. If any of or all of these three are there, it is difficult for you to progress in spiritual life. And as we are listening in the morning from the reading, while listening, we are feeling very strong in the mind to assert ourselves as the Atman. That you are the Atman, you can do everything, you are pure, you are not sinner, you are not weakling. That sort of ideas to give to us again and again. To this we need to read very inspiring books. What more inspiring will be there other than Swami Vivekananda's books? Some monks came from other order, and I took them to come to our bookstore, and they said, you have here Swami Vivekananda's complete works. I said, yes. Then I asked him, they said it's very, very nice books. I said, have you read those books? They say, Swami, if you have to explain and give lectures on Hinduism and Vedanta in the West, what can you do without reading those books? So Swami Vivekananda's words are inspiration. They are the source of strength. So we need to read books, those give us strength. To some, the verses of Gita is to give strength. Swami Mahatma Gandhi used to say, whenever I felt weak, I opened the page of the Gita and found so much strength. All these scriptures are meant to give us strength. That's what Swami Ranganathanandi told to one General Chaudhuri. He was the governor of the province of Hyderabad at that time. And he had a book on the table. So Ranganathanandi asked, you have a Gita, you read Gita? So the General Chaudhuri said, yes, whenever I feel distracted and dejected, then I read Gita. So whenever I need inspiration. Swamiji said, you read Gita only for some purpose? But Gita is meant to give strength to perform out every work. Then he said, do you mean that by reading Gita I'll get inspiration to perform my duty as the governor of the state? He said, yes. Gita will give you power, knowledge and strength to do everything that you do in the world in a better way, in a more perfect way. That is what the Gita is meant for. It's not meant for just for recitation or just for your only spiritual progress. Gita will give you, when you make your mind pure and you learn to work with that type of mind, then you can work better way in this world also. So reading scriptures helps us to make our mind pure, mind strong. To do that, reading Swamiji is the best. So, at the end, Swamiji's quotation, think of the Atman. That is very important to give strength. Arise, awake from this hypnotism of weakness. None is really weak. The soul is infinite, omnipotent and omniscient. Stand up, assert yourself, proclaim the God within you. Teach yourself, teach everyone his real nature. Call upon the sleeping soul and see how it awakes. Power will come. Glory will come, purity will come, and everything that is excellent will come when this sleeping soul is roused to self-conscious activity And that can be done by asserting our real nature as Atman again and again and again. That's why Swamiji said, be bold and face the truth. In the truth, everything becomes homogeneous. There is no me and you. Everything is one. That needs strength. To merge our ego into the huge, infinite spiritual awareness, it needs strength. So be bold and face the truth. If I am unaware, unable to do that, if you cannot, Swamiji said, be bold and face the truth. If you cannot, dream, but truer dreams, which are eternal love and service free. Loving everyone and giving free service is a dream, but a truer dream. If you cannot attain that highest realization and oneness with the infinite, if you want to remain in the dream, then dream that dream. That's what the Swami said. The assertion of the self, true nature of the self, is the one thing that will give us tremendous strength.